Hi, welcome to rptv, your source for community news in Regent Park. My name is Kedar, and in today's story, we look at the December 12th meeting of the Social Development Plans Committee, the central hub coordinating Regent Park's many organizations and initiatives. Key updates included new co-chair positions to boost outreach and efforts to build partnerships with local agencies. As one of Toronto's only neighborhoods with an active social development plan, Regent Park is leading the way in community-led development. Now let's go to the meeting.
So I'm going to ask for a volunteer to read out the purpose of the planning committee. Would like to do that?
I can go. I can.
Thank you, Elena.
It will be
please
faster.
go ahead.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. This is Elena. I'm going to read the purposes of the planning committee. The meeting date is December 12, 2024, and the meeting is 1 to 3 p.m. Purpose of the planning committee. The committee makes the recommendation of the SDP stakeholder tables on strategic directions and actions priorities, inter-committees alignment, coordinations, stakeholder and resident engagement by supporting the SDP stakeholder table to ensure that the meetings are effective, supporting the 4 working groups to be prepared to report at the SDP stakeholder table meetings, address the requirements and or requests that need a quick response, identifying information and or expertise that stakeholders require in order to make a sound and informed decision, developing a facilitation approaches that increase the capacity of all stakeholders to engage in decision and decision making. Thank you. Get back to Walid.
Thank you, Elena. So we're just going to quickly review the agenda. I just want to let folks know that we are amending the agenda related to the TCC tenant representation model. This item will be moved to January. So we just delete that, it'd be greatly appreciated. So our agenda is as follows. We're going to quickly talk about who our next facilitator is going to be in January 2025. We're going to talk about we're going to include in the announcements later on upcoming SDP events and meetings. We do have one meeting on Monday that relates to the funding committee, and another meeting on Tuesday that we'll briefly mention. Then our next item is quickly an update on city staff and council meetings. This is probably going to be very brief. And then we're going to have a discussion with our SDFA staff support led by Richard Kirwan. And then I will quickly talk about the funding committee before we conclude our meeting. So our meeting is probably not going to be too long, hoping to end around 2:30 at the latest, if not 2 o'clock. So just in case anyone has any questions. But before we approve the agenda, I'm going to ask if there's anyone that would like to amend the agenda, if everyone is in agreement with the agenda, and then we'll proceed. Adonis, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought you were going to give an update of the TCHC board just to let us know what was.
Yeah. Actually, let me do that. Maybe we can put that instead of the update from Felicia. I'll just share in the chat a link to a report that was approved by the TCHC board of directors earlier this morning.
Yeah, just a summary is fine.
Yeah. Okay, so just we'll add that to the agenda. Any other changes? See none. Okay, who would like to facilitate our meeting in January of 2025? Who hasn't done this in a while and wants to do it? Any takers?
Maybe I can take it. That's fine because nobody is just, yeah, I step in. I take it. That is
Elena is willing to do it, but Marshida, haven't done this in a while, so my eyes are focusing on you, eh? Next time.
Listen, I'm
Don't
working in the
cover up.
daytime, and then evening time, I have my kids with me, so I don't think I can facilitate at the moment.
Okay, fair
That's
enough.
the reason. That there's something else. I'm more than happy to. It just I no longer no one's taking care of my little kids anymore.
Okay, well, we'll make sure that next year we actually schedule it in advance and see if anyone needs any accommodation to be able to do it, including childcare, Rashida. Okay, because I think it's important to have this
Maybe one time, when we're in person, maybe I can do it.
in person. Okay, we're incentivized to do this in person. I like this. Okay, Elena, you're going to be facilitating our meeting in January, so thank you so much. Our next is any updates on city staff and councilor meetings. Nothing related to the SDP that I'm aware of, but does any other member of planning committee have any updates to share if it's related to this item? Seeing none. Brandy, can we just stop sharing the screen? Just because I want to be able to see everyone's. So are we comfortable with the agenda? I just want to make sure. I'll ask, is anyone opposed to the agenda as is before we move forward? No one is opposed. Okay, the agenda then is approved. Then we'll move on to the first item, and I'll pass it on to Richard Kirwan to speak on several matters. So Richard, take it away.
Sorry, I'm not sure fully why I'm here, but if you guys could.
I can take this.
Go ahead, Joel.
So the first, we could just have an update on where things are at with the administrative coordinator staffing position and what the group can expect. Anything you could share around that would be
Joel, you're cutting out.
appreciated.
Joel,
And the other is if you have any updates on. That might be better. Let me know if that's better.
Okay, you might have to restart. Restart.
So I'll start over again. If you could give us any information about where things are at for the administrative coordinator position, Richard. And the other piece is just, I think you've given us an update on the co-chair honoraria, but if you could just go over it again, where the payments for, I think it's 2023, 2024 are, and if there's any, what considerations there are for 2025, if any.
Yeah, okay, so with the admin coordinator, we're going to be extending that for 5 months. There will be one or two kind of different, we haven't fully flushed it out yet, but it will be extended for 5 months, but the roles will change. The roles will change a little bit to include more engagement and outreach within the community. So we'll follow up further when we have a few more of those details. And then as for the honorary, I'm working with Brandy currently to just figure out, there's some people started a little bit later. We're just trying to figure everything out on as where some of the money needs to be prorated and how much that prorated is. So we're just working through some of those pieces.
So are you saying that once those pieces are worked out, that it can be released like promptly after that, or will there be any other delays?
No, there won't be any delays, but we want to just have it all sent out together.
And this is for 2023, 2023 and 2024?
Both years, yes, correct.
Thank you. Any questions to Richard with regards to this item before we move on to the next one?
Yes.
Go ahead, Michael.
Okay, so so if you want the person to do more outreach, can we still have the existing job description and keep the things they're already doing, and maybe they just have to divide up their time differently, but we're not removing anything from the job description, are you?
Yeah, we will be moving. We will be moving if we're going to ask for something else. We don't have more hours. We don't have more money. So there will be one or two things that will be removed, and we'll be working that out with the coordinator, YSM, and the city.
Well, okay. I was going to suggest just adjust the amount of hours spent on things rather than remove entirely any function, right? So we won't have more hours and we're adding functions. I understand that. But could we still keep the other functions so that we can divide up the hours to the best that we can rather than removing any functions entirely from the job description? And I think the planning committee should be involved in that because it's not like there's not a private arrangement between the city and one organization. They're just the trustee. The actual, applicant for the funds or the purpose of the funds is the SDP. So I don't think you should make decisions on that just with one organization just because they're the trustee. It's not the role of a trustee.
So we can look at the kind of where the time is spent. Is it productive, and having some of those conversations, like what is, to your point, maybe not taking anything out, but just reducing those hours and adding those hours. Something that has continuously come up within this group, within your planning, within the city stuff, is that engagement and outreach to bring people together has been at a large need. The city also would like to see more people sitting in spaces and places. So that is our main priority, to say, let's look at this coordinator position and how we could look at engagement and some outreach pieces.
This free speech, the demonstration that involved with blatant anti-Semitic incitement of violence.
Miguel, I'm going to mute you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Richard, go ahead. Welcome, Miguel.
No problem. So yeah, Michael, I understand it was not about, it's looking at
in approach or what isn't functioning as a whole.
Any other questions for Richard with regards to this item? Okay, seeing none, thank you, Richard. Any other queries to Richard before we move on to the next item? Seeing none. Let me just see this. Let me see everyone's face here. I don't see anyone with any queries. So my
Sorry, Adonis has the hands up.
Adonis, go ahead. Go ahead, Adonis.
Hi, Richard. I just want to confirm your meeting with the strategic committee next week on the 17th, I believe. Sorry.
Not sure. That might have Brandy had set up a few appointments for me, so I don't know if that's one of the Brandy. Is that one you sent me and put in the calendar?
Yes, it is. I'll be sending you another reminder. Don't worry.
Okay. Yes, then I am meeting. Yes, correct.
Great. Thank you. Okay. And Brandy, do you just the time of that is what?
Sorry?
The time of the meeting, is it set for 3:30 or 4?
I believe it's set. Well, our agenda planning was, sorry, it was for 3:30, correct?
3:30. Okay,
yep.
Great. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. I'm assuming that we will all have a better sense of what those responsibilities are when they're finalized. So maybe Brandy, you can help facilitate communication to the working groups and the committees of the SDP, so that that matters, clear, like so that we have closure on that.
Okay,
Okay,
for sure.
sounds great. I see Miguel, you have your hand up. Go ahead, Miguel.
Sorry, just quickly, Willie. Sorry, Miguel. That the communication will come through me, not through Brandy.
Okay, so come through Richard. I'm just asking for Brandy support to pass it on to whoever. If it's going
Yeah,
directly
no,
to
for sure. But I
all
just want to
stakeholders.
make sure that the communication of like kind of it's not really a change, it's just an added function is
Okay.
from myself and not from Brandy. It's very difficult for someone to talk about their own position and how it would
Yeah.
things much easier for it to come from myself or from YSM.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Richard, for clarifying that. Miguel, you have your hand up, so go ahead if you have a question or a comment.
Yes, hi. I missed the presentation, but anyway, I have a burning question for Richard. It's regarding the SDP community animators that it was proposed in the SDP refresh for Regent Park. Any idea when this will be implemented so that the residents can increase their diet by having more money to buy groceries in the community, because we are used to get food bank stuff and it's not very healthy. Most of it is carbohydrates. And as a diabetic person, I cannot eat cereal forever. I need my vegetables, I need my fruit, but I don't have that money to pay for that. That will be awesome to hear an update when you are available to provide us to the Regent Park community. Thank you.
Okay. Richard, if you'd like to comment, please proceed. If not, we'll move on.
Shoot, sorry, my apologies. I just talked for like 3 minutes after we got. Sorry, this new platform on my phone is messing me up. But yes, that is still a plan, Miguel. We haven't veered away from that. We're just waiting for the last listening session to be complete, which is with the executive directors network, Regent Park Executive Directors Network. We haven't fully finished that process. So once we finish that process, then we'll get into the next stage, and hence why also we're looking at just extending the role of the coordinator to 5 months, because that role could possibly change into a lead ambassador or something similar to what it is, but utilizing that role to support some of the ambassador work as well. So there's a lot of smaller things that are in place, but we look forward to working with the community on how to kind of support that ambassador rollout, and what does that ambassador rollout look like, and how is the actual connectivity to the community as well.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Richard.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you.
Okay, so I have one last question for you, Richard, before we go. I did notice that our friends at the city sent out emails regarding funding related to the SDP. I know we got one for Sunday in the Park, and there wasn't much details on what was approved or other factors. So can you just comment on whether those announcements, the funding announcements, have been made, and what comes next?
Yeah, so it's going to be super vague because it's not finalized yet. The process has been completed. It is going through its kind of final stages of sorry, the panelists have done their work. The recommendations have been made to Denise. Once Denise signs off on those recommendations, they'll be released back to the city. We are looking to get that money out by the end of the year.
So all of the grants, successful grants, people who have been successful in the grant will hear within the next week or two if their grant has been successful or if it has not been successful. So we did have a ton of applications. There was over 50 applications. There was over, I believe, over $4 million in asks. So there's been a lot going on, but it's in the recommendations of our executive director at the moment. So that's pretty much all I can answer on that.
Thank you, Richard. Thanks for noting the amount of asks. $4 million is a significant increase from past years. So thank you for that. Michael, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I have something else. Just to clarify on that last point about ambassadors, are the ambassadors or the potential for ambassadors that you're talking about, is that in addition to the ambassadors that the TCHC already does, or is it a replacement for that, or is it just another way of naming the same thing, or is this going to be more ambassadors?
Yeah, it's going to be more ambassadors. We don't necessarily see the TCHC ambassadors are directly geared toward the TCHC kind of initiatives. So like the ambassadors that great would be geared towards social development initiatives with the community. So we might think about naming them separately, so there isn't no confusion. So maybe they're animators, ambassadors. The name isn't important. It's the actual one.
Okay, excellent. All right, my friends. Any other questions before we move on to the next item? Now we can move on to the next item. But Miguel, go ahead before we move to the next item.
Yes, thank you for the summary. You have explained what happened today at the board meeting, which you were participant as well as me. It is important that we talk about transparency and a clear process of the election system. And it's sad that this tenant engagement gets created, recreated, redrafted. It has gone through so many reviews in the last 14 years. So I kind of, I lost track how many suggestions they have been made. It all, falls into a situation where if there is staff, it gets promoted or moved out of that position, there is a dislocation, right? None of these recommendations are implemented, and then we had to begin from zero. As you hear me talking, capacity building is one of the biggest recommendations made by the tenants, but we don't have the funds for that. Hopefully, we will have more tenants committed to participate with the skills and knowledge. I challenge many members of critique of the SCP to step forward. It is time to move away from the comfort box, the comfort zone, and put your name in. Put your name down. I want to do this. I have skills on note taking. I have skills on presentations. I have skills on et cetera, et cetera. I'm fluent in this language. I know governments, management, whatever. So yeah, that's all I had to say about this, and we'll see how it goes. And a new tenant engagement for 2025.
Awesome. Okay, thanks for your feedback, Miguel. Any other questions related to this? We will have a much more robust conversation in the new year with Felicia from TCHC to speak to the implementation of the phased approach. Okay, but the good news, we will have elections for tenant representatives, and there's actually a commitment to support tenants through capacity building and funding for tenant-led initiatives. This is some really good news. I'm actually very happy with the recommendations that were put forward and approved by the board. Okay, we're going to move on to the next item, and that's funding committee. So this is just a quick item, but I just want to let everyone know the folks who've applied for SDP funding should have been notified by now about the status of the funding request. So please spread the word. If you know any group that has requested funding, please ask them to check the email and respond to the questions that they might have received with regards to the application. It's a very important time. Hopefully, we want to make sure that by the end of this year and in the new year, we know which projects are getting funded through the $500,000. But this speaks now to the broader point, which is ongoing resourcing of the social development plan. 2025, so the activities between December 2024 and December 2025 is the last year of the $500,000 allocation. We struck a funding committee at the last planning committee, and the members are myself, Elena, Marlene. You also, I think, suggested, pointed out that you're interested as well. Ali, Michael, I think those were the only names that I could recall. This folks who were at the last meeting, did I miss anyone?
I've heard that Dini is interested.
Yeah, Dini is interested. Yes, I do recall that. So an email notification was sent, a calendar notification was sent out about our first meeting, and that is happening next week on Monday, and it is at between 4:30 to 6 o'clock. In anticipation of that meeting, you will be receiving an email with a draft strategy for our engagement with members of council with the goal of having city council approve a motion to continue resourcing the social development plan in Regent Park. So sorry, I'm just checking the calendar invite. It's actually Brandy, Zenedini, Ali, Miguel, Elena, Marlene, and Avi from RPNA. I think that was it.
Sarah Jane has her hand up.
Go ahead, Sarah Jane.
Would you add me, please?
Okay, let me add you. Yes, Sarah Jane, 100%.
I sorry I went on mute and I didn't know I was on mute, and it was Brandy that was following me, so I started to interrupt and I have to leave soon. She was reminding me that I would like to be on the funding committee I was on last time. So
thank you so much, Sarah Jane. So the reason why we have this as a discussion is for two reasons. One, identifying new members. So Sarah Jane, thank you for showing your interest. You've now been added to the group. So is there any other person that would like to join this funding committee? Okay, I see a pause. No one else? Okay, the second reason, and this is a question to Adonis, who is connected with the ED network. Adonis, could we work together to make an ask to the executive directors roundtable to ensure that there's some other agencies are engaged in the strategy or the ask for resourcing the social development plan beyond 2025? And I'm thinking of Dixon Hall, the Birth Center, YSM, Kiwanis, like many groups that have traditionally supported the social development plan. So that's my question to you.
Yeah, happy to do so. To support with the ED network, sure.
Thank you, Adonis. So we'll send you an email after our meeting on Monday of what we've discussed, and then if you could share that with the network and see which organizations want to support this work in the new year. We do have strong support. I want to make it very clear. We do have strong support from the Regent Park Neighborhood Association, RPNA, as well as the Regent Park Tenant Rights Association. I had a meeting with the leadership of the Regent Park Tenant Rights Association, and there is unanimous support to work collaboratively in deputations in the new year, in mid-January, when it comes to the budget, the upcoming budget cycle. So this is going to be a great opportunity for us to work collaboratively. So just want to let folks know that. Gail, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if a specific list of asks would be the better way to approach the ED network, unless you're saying your support ask is for them to depute. But I mean, if there's more, because if you're funding committee, I assume their skill sets, so that's grant writing, research, etc. So, you know, is there a list of skills that you're looking at that you could then come back to the ED network to say, these are some things that we think would be helpful for us?
It's an excellent question. So the funding committee that's meeting on Monday is going to identify what those specific asks are going to be of the ED network.
That was my question. Yeah, that's just that. Yeah. So if that's going to be the case, that's great. I just think that that's a better way to approach that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. So on Monday's meeting, we will identify what those asks are going to be. Any other points on this matter? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to the next item. The next item is announcements related to upcoming meetings. So on Monday, we're having our funding committee from 4:30 to 6. Brandy, remind us about our other meeting related to strategic planning. When is that happening?
On the 17th of December at 3:30 p.m.
Amazing. That's Tuesday.
Correct.
So yeah, so those are all the meetings that we wanted to make note of. We will be taking a break. Brandy, please let us know from when to when, so everyone can have some time with family and loved ones.
Yep, I believe we take break from the 17th after the 7th. No,
Today.
I think it's after today.
Yeah.
The last planning committee meeting. Yeah.
This is the last one. Oh no, because the next one's the strategic. That's right. It is until January 9th.
Until January 9th.
Correct.
So let's put this in the break. We're resuming January 9th, 2025.
Yep.
So and then our next two meetings are Monday
for the funding committee.
For the funding committee, which is the 16th.
Yeah,
Monday, December 16th.
And the 17th is the strategic planning, where Richard will come in and speak as well.
And strategic planning is from what time to what time? Just want to make sure.
3:30. And it's the hour and a half.
30. Okay, perfect. Strategic planning.
So what date is that?
On the 17th of December.
Tuesday.
The what?
Tuesday, December 17th.
Okay, thank you.
From 3 p.m. From 3 p.m. right?
3:30.
No, from 3:30 to
5.
What time? 5
I think
o'clock.
it's 5 p.m. Correct. Yeah.
Okay, 5 p.m. Okay.
Sarah Jane, would you like me to send you a email reminder, Sarah Jane?
Yes.
I'll send out an email reminder today for the strategic planning.
Next planning committee is when? The 2nd?
January the 9th.
Oh.
I can send out an email today just to let everyone know about the break dates and our return date.
Okay.
The funding committee. No problem. Have a good day.
Awesome. Okay, my friends, it's just before 2 o'clock, 1:56. Our meeting is done. Quick reminder, Elena will be facilitating our upcoming meeting in January, but we will try to identify future facilitators at that meeting for the next couple of weeks. Quick reminder, please remind everyone that has applied for SDP funding to check the emails and to respond accordingly. And then thirdly, the meetings that we just talked about. So happy holidays. I'm going to miss all of you. Adonis has one last thing to say before we adjourn. Adonis, go ahead.
Brandy, I sent you a note in the chat. Please,
I got it.
Please make a note of that.
I got it. I copied it.
Thank you.
Is there any way you could stay on with me for 2 minutes?
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Okay, my friends, happy holidays. Stay safe. And I look forward to seeing all of you in the new year. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Take
thank you
care.
very
Our
much,
meeting's adjourned.
everyone.
Bye.
Everybody,
Take care.
have a
Bye.
great holidays.
Happy
and,
holidays.
Happy
yeah,
holidays.
bye-bye.
Happy
Bye.
holidays, folks. Take care.
Happy
Bye.
holidays.
Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please follow us on our social media platform. For more information, you can check out our website.